So criminals actually pay a lot of attention to where the lines are drawn in society. So when you have lines like when George Gascon comes in and he redraws the lines and he tilts them much more heavily in favor of the criminal's interests instead of victims, the criminals are paying attention. So for instance, if he tells juveniles that he's not going to prosecute misdemeanor theft, which means stealing just under $950, it's not a shock that juveniles eventually figure out that, wow, we're actually not getting arrested for this. Word goes out and they start doing a heck of a lot more of it. The police will tell you stories of people, I heard one recently, where juveniles got arrested just across the border in a neighboring county called San Bernardino County. And they were stealing just under $950. And when they got arrested, the officer said, well, you know you're in San Bernardino County. We will arrest you for that. You will actually have accountability for that. And they started to apologize immediately. They said that, oh, we thought we were in LA County and we could do that kind of stuff. I've heard this answer, that LA County is no worse than, and he fills in a major city, Miami, Chicago, Dallas, Houston, St. Louis, whatever. And every time I hear that, I'm absolutely offended, because Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office used to be the gold standard by which all of the DA's offices measured themselves. Now the LA County District Attorney's Office is the butt of late-night comedians' jokes. You know, George Gascon, when you ask him where his political philosophy comes from, he starts it in the 1850s, when he describes that when police were originated, according to him, were to actually recover fugitive slaves. He then takes that narrative all the way to present day, saying in essence that the entire criminal justice system, prosecutors, law enforcement, are systemically racist. As recently as January 2024, he made two selections to his senior management, which were both a slap in the face to his own prosecutors and to law enforcement. The first one was his chief of staff, a woman named Tiffany Blacknell. Because if George Gascon, he has no criminal experience himself, you would think you'd want the most experienced attorney in that office to be your chief of staff. In fact, he's got incredibly rocky relations with law enforcement. You would think you'd want the deputy district attorney who has the best relations of law enforcement to be your chief of staff. So who did he appoint in January 2024? It was this Tiffany Blacknell, who'd never been a prosecutor her whole life. She was a deputy public defender. And she famously wore a t-shirt in the summer of 2020 during the Defund the Police movement that she posted on her social media that said, "The police are trained to kill us," calling them barbarians and an occupying army. That's a slap in her face to the prosecutors. And how can you say to law enforcement that you want to be their partner when effectively your chief of staff views law enforcement as the enemy? He's destroying that office. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, when George Gascon started, there was about 950 prosecutors. Right now, there's closer to 750 prosecutors. And the office numbers will keep going down and down and down because no one wants to work for George Gascon.